find it. Shh, just go to sleep. All right now, Canes fans, don't take that intro too serious. I'm just goofing off, joking around, trying to make you guys laugh because a lot of us are in a sour mood right now after this victory 25-23 against App State, which sounds really kind of weird and backwards, right? Because I'm saying we just got a win, but I'm upset, right? It's like we won, but we lost. And that don't even make sense in my brain. But let's talk about it for a few minutes because I've had a couple of hours to cool off, to think about everything, to look at the stats, to watch some highlights and some portions of the game again. And I got to tell you guys something. I am still just as upset as I was at the end of my live stream. We were heated, man. That was some of the most venting and negativity that I had put out in regards to the Miami Hurricanes in a long time. But we did end up getting the dub, and luckily so, because I don't show this stuff on my streams or my videos very often, but bro, I had put my Charizards on the line. I said if Miami didn't get the dub, I was so confident. I was like, if Miami doesn't get the dub on Twitter, I said, I'm going to give one of you guys one of my graded Charizards. And let me tell you something. These things mean a lot to me, all right? I'm going to keep it real with you. If you don't know about Pokemon or, you know, whatever, it's cool. But I've got some real valuable cards up on that shelf and in a safe that you guys know nothing about. And I care a lot about those things, okay? So for me to put those bad boys on the line, you know that I was pretty confident. And we got the dub, but boy, it was way too close for comfort. I usually... Also, I wanted to let you guys know, have notes up in front of me. But listen, man, we've got the lights turned way down low. We're trying to chill. I have a serious migraine right now. But I wanted to get this instant reaction out quickly. So let's dive into it and let's discuss it. What I really want to talk about is, why does it feel like we lost when we actually won the game? The Miami Hurricanes had not won a game in 281 days. So finally getting back over into the win column should feel good, right? Right? But man, even after going back and looking at the stats and watching the highlights, I feel like that we're somewhat regressing. Overall, I'm talking both coaching-wise, offensively, and defensively. And there are always some positives that you can pick out, right? There are some things that look decent, and we'll talk about it here in a few minutes. But overall, I don't think that we are heading in the right direction. I don't think that we're taking steps forward and moving closer to being a big, successful football program again. I want to be blunt and honest, and I just want to throw all of the bads out there and just see what you guys think and see if other Canes fans and college football fans of other opposing teams feel the same after watching this game. So I do have a short list in front of me. I said earlier that I didn't have a list, but it's just a couple of bullet points so that way I don't forget these because I really want to talk about them. First off, I really feel like that we are struggling to successfully run the RPO, which is a big part of our offense under Rhett Lashlee. But I don't know if it's the times that Rhett Lashlee is calling it, so the timing is bad, or I don't know if maybe it's possibly De'Aaron King struggling a little more to successfully read defenses all of a sudden, because some of his decisions have been questionable with the RPO, and we're just all around struggling with trying to run this offense that we have in place. I still think that we did not establish the run. We ran a little better than we did against Alabama, and I know that people are maybe going to preach about App State's defense, but bro, at the end of the day, even though they play Power 5 teams pretty well, it's still the Sun Belt Conference. What I'm getting at is, how are we going to look then against some of the ACC teams? Virginia Tech, North Carolina, Michigan State next week. You see what I'm saying? So we're still struggling to be able to establish the run. And in my opinion, we have no rhythm on offense, period, at all. And really also what hurts even more to say is, I don't think that we have an identity. And that was one of the last things I thought that we were going to struggle with when we brought in Rhett Lashley, honestly. But truly, tell me, what is our identity? What are we known for right now so far into this season, 2 games in offensively? I'll wait. There is nothing there. And I have no positives, honestly, overall, that I can pull when it comes to us offensively. If we want to talk defensively a little bit, actually, let me back up. Let me talk about offensively a little bit. Still, I also wanted to bring up De'Aaron King again, because I'm a De'Aaron King fan. I like him. And we talked about him struggling with some of his reads and with the RPO, but was it just me, or did De'Aaron King look off tonight? There wasn't as much on the ball. I don't think that I can't quite put a finger on it, bro. And I wish that I could, because this is the react video. This is when I'm supposed to put it all out there on the table. But De'Aaron King just looked off tonight badly. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Defensively, still poor tackling. Which led to, if you want to talk about special teams, App State had a 100 or 103 yard return for a touchdown at the Rock on our turf, and they take one to the house. And that's just special teams specifically, but poor tackling all around defensively. And that is obviously going to be a big struggle for us this season. It was very apparent against Alabama. We play a team that is not Alabama, what would be an inferior opponent when compared to Alabama, and it was overall just as bad, in my opinion. So that's going to be something we're going to struggle with all year, and I don't know how we get better. What's really alarming to me, and this is what's really starting to hit me, and if you want to label me as the negative fan, all of a sudden Coop is not optimistic anymore, it's fine. You can do that. I don't care at this point. I want to be blunt, and I want to be honest, because I want what's best for this program. I don't think that we are anywhere near competing with the big boys, with other teams that are in the top 5, in the top 10, teams that are going to potentially play in the ACC championship game, teams that are going to be in the college football playoffs. There is too much, I'm seeing too much of a gap there. And for people that think that by the end of the season we are going to improve that much to the point that we can compete with, Alabama again, or Georgia, or, some of these other, Oregon apparently, or some of these other big teams, I just don't see it. And we're trying to specifically react to App State. So that's a video for another time, or a live stream. But that's just what's really alarming to me after seeing this game. So many people are going to hop in the comment section and say, but Coop, it's App State. They run the ball very well, and they play all these other teams closely. But at the end of the day, what do you think that Alabama would probably do to App State? What do you think that Oregon would do to App State? What would I keep pulling those two, but listen, I want to say some teams like Ohio State and Clemson, but they lost games. Ohio State lost this week, Clemson lost last week, so it's hard for me to say for sure. But what I'm saying is, other teams that are the teams at the end of the season that are going to be competing for a national championship in the playoffs would most likely destroy App State, if we're being honest. And that shows me that we are nowhere near that level yet, and that's very alarming. So most of this video is just me venting, expressing my frustration with the program. And it's not that we had to be a national championship contender this year. Honestly, just going to the ACC championship game and competing would make me pretty darn happy. And that can still happen. We've not even started ACC play yet. But I do want us to address some of these things and hopefully make some changes so we can realistically have an opportunity to make it to that point, because right now it don't look good, guys. But if you want me to look for a positive, you want me to pull something deep, you want me to reach and find something, number one, we got the dub, so it is a win instead of a loss. This conversation would be very different if we would not have been able to pull out the victory. It would be a much different conversation, trust me. And number two, I will say that I am impressed with what I see from Keyshawn Smith. I think that he has actually stepped up and become the leader in that group, and I think that he needs to be our number one target. We had Rambo catch a couple of passes as well, but Keyshawn Smith is on a whole nother level when it comes to that wide receiver group. Let me jump over to ESPN.com and we'll take a look at some of the stats from the game and just briefly talk about it. And what I want you guys to be doing while I'm talking about the stats is just telling me how you feel about the game. You literally can use the comment section as an open forum to vent. Don't let anybody tell you that you're not a Canes fan because you're being negative. Don't let anybody tell you you're not a Canes fan because you're being positive. Only you truly know how big of a Miami Hurricanes fan you are. And I've said this time and time again, but at the end of the day, if you are a Miami Hurricanes fan, you just want what's best for the program. You want whatever takes us to the top again. And there are fans all around the world, and everyone has a different idea of what it takes to get there. And that's okay. We don't have to agree. So just keep that in mind when you're typing your comment down below. But let's briefly take a look at the stats here. Third down efficiency, 5 of 16. That's pretty darn pitiful. I said I'm not going to do a lot of comparisons, but it was similar to App State. 375 total yards for us. 200 of that was passing, and 175 of that was rushing. 6 penalties for 60 yards. We did not have any turnovers, so that is actually potentially another positive. That is a good sign. If we go over and look at individual stats, De'Aaron King, 20 of 33 for 200 yards. Rushing, Cameron Harris led the way, 18 carries for 91 yards. De'Aaron King, 20 carries for 67, and Don Chaney Jr., 4 for 21. Now, I do want to say, unfortunately, that Don Chaney Jr. left the game with a lower extremity injury, and so did Keontra Smith. And unfortunately, we won't know more until tomorrow, but Manny Diaz said that the initial diagnosis is very bad and that there's a good chance that they may be done for quite a while. And I don't want to put bad juju on the whole thing or anything like that, nothing crazy, but I heard that it wasn't good, and that could be a big blow for this Miami Hurricanes team. So prayers up for those guys. Hopefully they're okay. Receiving, as we already said, Keyshawn Smith led the way, 4 receptions for 70 yards. Rambo right behind him at 52. Mike Harley, 27 yards. Defensively, Gervin Hall led the team with total tackles and solo tackles. Bubba Bolden getting in there. Carter had the interception that set us up with really good field position. And Borregales, really what won us the game here, guys, is 2 things. App State's mistake on that punt, right? The punt that the snap that went up over dude's head, and let me just bring it full screen again. That went over his head and set us up for the safety, because we did end up winning this game by 2 points, right? And also our special teams play, continuing to just ball out. Headley and Borregales, I realize Borregales did miss the 1 field goal that was tipped, but at the end of the day, he came out in the 4th quarter and kicked the field goal for us, which ended up putting us in the lead, which gave us the victory. So special teams is still a spot that kind of shines for us. Not really in the return game so far, which I would like to see, but with our kickers, man, we're balling. But that's really all that I want to say, because this video is already going to be like 20 minutes, and it's just going to be me ranting and venting and a bunch of negativity. And I want to take some time to cool off and think about it and realize that we did still get the dub, so we are 1-1. We got to get ready for Michigan State. That's going to be another home game at Hard Rock Stadium. But I do want you guys to feel like that you can vent. And you can be negative because we want this team to be great again. And it is just a little unsettling and upsetting whenever we have a tight game like this, and it's more than just the score. Okay, I want you to know that it's more than just me saying we only won by 2 points, bro. It's the execution, it's the coaching, it's so many more things. It's our guys coming out not looking prepared week in and week out, going all the way back to last season. I'm not just talking about 2021. I'm not just talking about Alabama. This has been happening for a couple years now. So, like I said, I'm happy that we got the win. So don't get it twisted, Canes fans. I'm glad that we're 1-1 and not 0-2. Okay, but just use the comment section as an opportunity to vent, to talk about the game. Give me your cons, give me your pros, and maybe we can touch on what we're kind of expecting. Michigan State coming up, bro. That's gonna be a handful potentially at Hard Rock Stadium. And I thank you guys, everyone who showed up for the live hangout today. If you don't know, I do go live during all the Miami Hurricanes games, and we react to it as it's going on. We hit over 1,000 viewers during that stream. That is absolutely insane. That's almost a record. Almost, very close to it. I think we need like 1,600 to break the record, but over 1,000 viewers. So much love and support. Thank you guys for all the donations and all the new members and all the crazy stuff. We are going to absolutely do it big this year, and we're going to have a good time over on this channel regardless of what the outcome ends up being for the Miami Hurricanes football season. But hopefully it's going to be all positives from here, and oh boy, we can get things on track to be where we want it to be. So, man, I love you guys. I love my college football family. Remember, guys, we're all one big happy college football family. But at the end of the day, I got to say, it's always better still when you get to rep the U. Coach Coop, peace out.